Hey, what's up? It's me again. Well, I haven't made a video in a while, and I know I sound kind of weird because I need to be tested for COVID, which hopefully I don't have COVID, but I've just been having some sinus issues, and I'm gonna go get tested, but I'm pretty much quarantined, and my dad has been off, so that's two reasons I've been unable to make videos. And what I'd like to talk about, since I don't really have the time or the ability to go into much else, I like to title this video simply Missing the Moon, okay? And we're basically in that new moon phase of the month, as always, where the moon goes away for several days and nights. And the reason is because it would only be out in the daytime. So I'm really missing the moon, and I don't like the fact that unlike last Halloween, we had nowhere near a full moon this year, and so we basically didn't have a moon. But I miss the moon, and the thing about that is I know that it will come back. Within 2 weeks it'll be a full moon yet again, and hopefully I'll be feeling better. Okay, I'm really not feeling that bad. Like I said, I don't have a fever or anything like that. Okay, but unlike the moon, which is technically going through a phase, which is why it's called that. I miss the moon, but I know it will come back. Yet that is not the case. When these people get on hormones and try to become the opposite sex, well, they're not going to come back. They're permanently altering their bodies. They're not going to come back to who and what they were before. And certainly not if they're on it for a long time. My voice, in a few weeks, you won't be able to tell it was ever like this. And so I will come back, so to speak. But these people that get on hormones for a long time, they do not come back, and it's a shame. They permanently alter their bodies, and as a result, their lives follow suit. But unlike the moon, they will not be back. They basically destroy themselves, and I do not want to be a part of that. I believe the whole gender identity thing was something created. It's a scam, basically. And it was created to make money off of people like that. So, I miss the moon, but it will come back. But, the people that change their names and their lives and all that, they will not come back, It's a permanent change. So, yeah, that's just what I want to talk about. And I also want to talk about how odd it is that a lot of times it's the grandparents. It's a strange scenario wherein the grandparents who literally coexisted on planet Earth with this guy, which I don't know why I have so many pictures of him, they literally lived at a time when life was just so far from what it is today. Yet they are often the most accepting, which I have no living grandparents, by the way. We were just talking about how my grandpa would be turning 100 and my grandma would be 99, but none of my grandparents are alive. But I find it ironic how a lot of times the grandparents are accepting of this, whereas the parents are the ones that are unsupportive, so to speak, like my parents. And of course, I don't have any living grandparents, so they can't really accept me or not because they're dead. And it's ironic, but you know why that is? It's because by the time the person that's putting themselves through all this starts to have the health problems, the long-term, health consequences and the regrets, they will likely be dead. If they're still alive at 80 or 90-something years old, they will probably be dead very soon. So they're less concerned with, trying to set the child on the right path. And this was a fight that my mom always had with my grandparents, specifically my paternal grandma, her mother-in-law. Not so much about that, but about other things in general. She didn't really care about, teaching us right from wrong so much as just continuing to have a relationship with us and happy times and good memories for as long as she possibly could. She'd laugh or agree to anything because it didn't really concern her that much. If it wasn't, something horrible, she would probably be dead before I would see any long-term consequences. And the same thing is true with these people. They're less likely to be directly involved in the consequences and have to deal with them. You know, they won't have to bury their grandchild because of something that happens 20, 30, 40 years down the line, but the parents may very well have to bury their child. So, you know, it's so ironic, you know, when really old people, you know, that lived at a time when things were just so different than they are now, you know, you would think that they'd be the most vehemently opposed to it. But no, it's the parents most of the time, like my parents. And I'm glad about that because I don't think people should accept this whole gender thing. And I certainly don't. And I will boycott or, you know, rip from my life anything that, you know, that is a part of it, or, you know, anything to do with people that believe that it's the right thing to do. You know what I'm saying? I was at the rodeo and this guy, I don't know who he was, but I really admire him. This guy in a band, he did a cover of Toby Keith's Should Have Been a Cowboy, and instead of California is full of whiskey, women, and gold, he said California is full of whiskey, liberals, and gold. And so my opinion of that guy is way up there because of that. So anyway, I don't think people should go along with that, you know, trans thing. And I think it's really sad that unlike the moon, they will not be back in their original form.